And you might begin to notice something curious is already happening as you focus now, not on learning in the usual sense, but remembering something you've always known, but hadn't yet realised that you are living. Because when a well-dressed hedgehog in a top hat strolls across the stage of your imagination, unaware of social norms, yet entirely at home in his own charming awkwardness, something clicks, not logically, not linearly, but undeniably. Like the click of a stapler that you didn't know you admired, until it reminded you structure can be delightfully bizarre. And that's the trick, isn't it? Because when you embrace the odd, you become the exception. When you celebrate the absurd, life becomes surprisingly cooperative. When you laugh at the rules, suddenly you're writing them. Isn't it funny how rules always change once you decide they're only optional suggestions in disguise? Now imagine someone, you, perhaps reaching for the cereal box in aisle 5. But suddenly it's not a box. It's a secret file. You're no longer a shopper. You're a whimsical secret agent in a tuxedo hoodie on a mission of delight. The surveillance camera is now a metaphor for the observing self, and you realise every moment is a rehearsal for becoming the most compelling version of yourself. It's not a funny thing to realise that charisma doesn't require permission. Confidence never asked for approval. And weirdness, well, it's just authenticity with better marketing. Now just for a moment, let's loop back and gently stack this truth upon itself. People respond not to reality, but to their belief about reality. And your beliefs, they've already begun to shift, haven't they? Because deep inside, the part of you who once hesitated now laughs quietly and says, I got this. So when others strive for normal, you learn to reframe the struggle as strategy, to make awkwardness your artistry and failure feedback, pure data with punchlines. Because don't you already know that behind every mistake is the opening scene of a surrealist sketch, and every perceived flaw is a future anecdote that makes strangers lean in and say, God, I wish I had your confidence. You don't get there by accident. You get there by choice. You don't need permission because the strongest frame always wins. What if your frame is delight? And maybe right now your unconscious mind is beginning to recalibrate, rewiring at the speed of metaphor, as if every cell is leaning forward like an intrigued audience member, waiting for the punchline to drop, only to realise you are the punchline. And it's funny because it's true, you see. A belief is just a thought you've rehearsed so often. It becomes furniture in your mental living room. But you've just begun redecorating, throwing out I'm not good enough, like an ugly old chair that never matched the rug of your true potential anyway, because now you are enough. And enough is more than most people dare to be. What happens when someone realises their energy is magnetic, that certainty is sexy and self-approval is the ultimate aphrodisiac? Well, they start walking through rooms like they own them, because internally they do. And from this moment on, you start seeing every challenge not as a test, but as an invitation to become inevitable. While the world continues its awkward waltz of what-ifs and not yet, you're mastering the grand theatrical gestures of why not and watch me. So let it all install now, not later, not someday, now. Let it root deep, like strange, curious vines wrapping around your spine, reinforcing the posture of someone who's already won the game. and now plays just for the joy of it. Because if life is just a series of unfortunate events, why not laugh first, win later, and seduce the universe in the meantime? And maybe by now you've already begun combining all these ideas, like peculiar puzzle pieces suddenly clicking into place until your unconscious smiles slyly and says, This is my new operating system. And as you forget what you used to believe, you start to remember who you really are. It's not about trying anymore. It's about being. Being the mystery, that force, that charming anomaly, that magnetic creature that people can't quite explain, but never want to forget. Because while others search for the meaning of life, you're too busy laughing at the shape of clouds and turning silence into symphonies. And isn't that exactly how transformation sneaks in?